There is a black hole at the very start of your life. 3 or 4 years of pure experience simply gone. And almost every human being who has ever lived has the exact same hole, in the exact same place. The obvious answer is that a baby's brain is too undeveloped to form memories at all. But that's just not true. Babies remember constantly. A 6-month-old recognizes its mother's face and voice. That's a stored memory. Show a baby how to make a mobile move by kicking, and weeks later, it will kick the second it sees that mobile again. Toddlers remember where you hit a toy. They even remember the word for dog. A 2-year-old can describe something that happened to them months ago. So memories are being made, rich ones, detailed ones. The recording light is on. Which means the mystery isn't why your baby brain failed to save anything. It saved everything. And then, later, something came along and deleted it. And that's the part almost nobody knows. The forgetting doesn't happen to the baby. It happens to the child the baby becomes. Studies that follow kids over years find something eerie. A 6-year-old can still recall events from when they were 2 or 3. Ask them again at age 10, and those same early memories are simply gone. The hole isn't there at the start. It opens up afterward around 6 and 7, a slow erasure that creeps backward across your earliest years and swallows them. Psychologists have a cold clinical name for it: childhood amnesia. But that name hides the actual horror of it. Somewhere around the time you were learning to read, a version of you was being deleted. And you were too busy growing up to notice it leaving. So, what is the deleting? The first answer is buried in a small, curled structure deep in your brain called the hippocampus, the part that takes a fleeting experience and files it into a long-term memory you can find again later. In a baby, the hippocampus is a construction site. And here's the twist that flips your intuition. We assume a fast-growing brain should remember more. The opposite is true. An infant brain is building new neurons at a furious rate, wiring them into the hippocampus by the thousands. And scientists found that all that new construction overwrites the old wiring. The fresh neurons elbow their way in, and the memories get pushed out. They proved it backwards, too. Slow the neuron growth down, and the young animals kept their early memories. Crank it up in an adult, and the adult started to forget, which means your earliest years may have been erased by the very thing that made you so brilliant at learning. Your brain was growing so fast that it paved over its own past. The cost of becoming you was forgetting the you that came first. But there's a second, deeper reason, and this one isn't about hardware. It's about who the memory was supposed to belong to. Think about what one of your real memories actually is. It's a little story. This happened to me here, and I felt this way. It needs a main character. It needs an I. And for the first couple of years of your life, that I didn't fully exist yet. A baby has overwhelming, vivid, total experiences, but it has no language to tag them and no stable sense of self to pin them to. There's no narrator in the story yet. So the experiences happen to no one in particular. They wash through a mind that hasn't finished building the person those memories would be filed under. It's why your first real memory shows up right around the time you became fluent, around 3 or 4. Memory had to wait for language to give it somewhere to live. The lights were on in there from the very beginning. There was just nobody home yet to write any of it down. Now here's where it turns. Because there's a real possibility the memories were never actually destroyed at all. Some researchers think the traces are still in there. The problem isn't deletion, it's retrieval. The memories were filed by a brain that has since rebuilt itself, in a code the adult you no longer knows how to read. The information might be sitting in the dark, intact behind a door, whose key got reorganized away. You're not missing the memories. You just can't find the version of yourself that knew where they were. And then there's the truly unsettling part. That one early memory you do have. The birthday, the beach, the dog. There's a good chance it never happened. When researchers test people's earliest memories, a startling number turn out to be inventions. Scenes stitched together from a photograph you were shown, a story your parents told 100 times. A home video you absorbed so deeply that your brain quietly filed it as something you remembered firsthand. So you don't just have a hole where your childhood should be. In a lot of cases, you filled that hole with a childhood you reconstructed and then convinced yourself you lived. Put it all together and you arrive somewhere quietly enormous. There was a person who lived the first years of your life, a person who learned the entire world from scratch, who didn't know what a face was, or a word, or that they were separate from their mother and figured all of it out. A person who experienced everything for the very first time with an intensity you will never feel again, because you'll never again meet anything that isn't already familiar. That person felt enormous love, enormous fear, total joy at things you'd now walk straight past. And that person is gone. The self that held them dissolved into the next version. You didn't grow out of them. You replaced them. And you are the only thing they ever became. We think of ourselves as one long, continuous person, threaded together by memory. But your memory doesn't reach the beginning. It starts partway through on a story already in progress. About a baby you're told was you, doing things you'll have to take on faith. Somewhere underneath everything you are, there's a person you can never meet who did the hardest work a human ever does, becoming a person at all, and then handed the whole thing to you and vanished without a trace. You can't remember them, but every single thing you are is what they left behind. So maybe the real question was never why you can't remember being a baby. Maybe it's, who were you before you were you?